I spent a very enjoyable hour alone here last night, and before that, Ames the butler was a mine of helpful information. He gave me this.
An old slipper?
What are those stains?
Blood. Exactly. This is one of the slippers which were adorning the feet of Mr. Cecil Barker when he discovered the body.
Oh, well, then of course it's covered in blood. The whole corner of the room's covered in blood. And worse.
Look at this.
Oh, we've seen it. The killer's footprint on the sill.
And if I place the slipper over it...
Good God!
It's an exact match.
But what the devil was Barker doing climbing out of the window?
And now, this well-concealed, muddy footprint behind the curtain.
That one doesn't match at all.
I said it was a snorter.
You did, and you went wrong. Most of the rest of my time here was spent in a renewed search for the missing dumbbell.
What missing dumbbell?
Oh, sorry, didn't I mention that? Remiss of me. The entire case hinges on the missing dumbbell.
Mr. Holmes.
I've one more piece of advice.
Well, I hope it's a sight more practical than the last one.
I recommend a nice, cheery country walk for both of you. Then lunch at some suitable hostelry. And this evening, tired but happy.
Man, this is getting past
And
the
this
joke.
evening, I'd be obliged if you'd join me at the gates to this house before dusk, without fail, Mr. Mac.
Oh, that sounds more like sanity.
Oh, it was all excellent advice. Oh, one thing before we part.
Well,
I want you to write a note to Mr. Barker.
saying what?
Here, I've drafted it for you.
Well?
That's not possible, Mr. Holmes. I've already inquired.
Nonetheless.
Give me that.
Well, Inspector, what does it say?
It says, Doctor, that at first light tomorrow a gang of police workmen are going to set to divert the river that runs through this estate.
Divert the river?
Yes. We're going to drain the moat.
He's not coming.
It's not mine yet, Baldwin.
Ah, you bungled it. He was wise to you.
Quiet.
We're sitting here like rats in a trap.
If you can't shut your mouth, Baldwin, I'll shut it for you.
He'll come. My word on it.
Watson?
Yes. This gives us a good view of the study.
Excellent.
Well, we're here. What do we do now?
We possess our souls in patience.
Well, why are we here at all?
Try to make as little noise as possible. We have to set the scene, to glorify our results sometimes. This would be a drab and sordid sort of profession if we didn't.
I'm a believer in direct action.
Oh, Mr. Mac, the blunt accusation, the brutal tap on the shoulder. What could poor Watson here make of that? But the subtle trap,
The quick inference,
clever forecast.
the anticipation, the thrill.
Yes, the thrill. Where would that be if I'd explained everything beforehand? Where's the pride and justification in that? All I ask is a little patience. Everything will become clear.
Well, I hope the pride and the justification and the rest of it come before we all catch our death of cold.
Oh, on the subject of the clever forecast...
No, I don't think I've forgotten.
Forgotten what?
Mr. Holmes has an informant in London who predicted this murder.
Good God. Who is he?
We don't know. He's just a name, Porlock.
It's the man behind him that matters.
Are you still sticking to that?
Oh, yes, yes. Professor James Moriarty. The most dangerous criminal in England.
You think he's behind this? Well, why wasn't I told?
It's just Mr. Holmes's bee in the bonnet. I made some inquiries myself, you know.
About Moriarty?
Aye, Doctor. I went to see him.
Did you indeed?
And I'm bound to say that he struck me as a very respectable, learned and talented sort of man.
Oh, I'm glad you've got so far as to recognize the talent.
Oh, man, you can't help but recognise it. I had a chat with him about eclipses.
Eclipses?
Was that what you wanted to chat with him about?
Well, no, it wasn't. To be truthful with you, how the talk got that way, I can't think.
Yeah.
But somehow it did. And I'll tell you, he had out a reflector lantern and a globe, and he made it all seem clear to me in a minute.
Eclipses. Something dark concealing something light. Moriarty's mirror image, and explained with a reflector lantern. He was playing with you.
He lent me a book on the subject too, but I don't mind saying it was a bit over my head. But his whole manner, it struck me he'd have made a grand minister of the kirk.
Dear God.
I'm telling you, Mr. Holmes, when he put his hand on my shoulder as we were parting, It was like a father's blessing before you go out into the cold, cruel world.
The man's a genius. Mr. Mac, James Moriarty, sits at the center of a web that stretches across the entire criminal world.
But you have no proof, man.
He draws checks on 6 different banks. He owns priceless works of art, and he pays his chief of staff £6,000 a year.
That's more than the Prime Minister
The
gets.
professor's official salary is $700 per annum.
But how can this professor be connected with this affair?
Look,
What is it?
it's what we've been waiting for.
There's a light in the study.
Someone's moving about. Can you see what it is?
No, wait.
I still can't see.
Is that a gun?
No, a grappling hook.
Fishing, is it?
There. What is it? Now, come on! Good evening, Mr. Cecil Barker.
What the devil's the meaning of this? What do you all want?
That's what we want, that bundle you just fished up from the bottom of the moat.
How in thunder do you know about that?
I know about it because I put it there.
You, mister.
Perhaps I should say replaced it there. I fished it up myself last night with the aid of Dr. Watson's excellent umbrella.
How did you know it was there in the first place?
The missing dumbbell.
Very good, Watson. The missing dumbbell, the crucial clue. You'll find it weighing down this interesting catch. There. 1 pair of boots, American, you'll note. 1 grey tweed suit with a reefer jacket. And 1 yellow overcoat.
What did I tell you? He's not coming.
Mr. Barker, I seem to be standing in the way of your explanation.
If you know so much, Mr. Holmes, perhaps you'd better tell us some more.
I could tell you a great deal more, but it would come with a better grace from you.
Oh, you think so, do you?
Yes, I do.
And he's not the only one. Are you going to explain this or not?
If there's a secret here, it's not mine to tell.
Oh, that's your line, is it? Mr. Cecil Barker, I'm arresting you.
You can do what you damn well like.
No, Cecil.
Ivy!
Don't make it worse for yourself. You've done enough for us without that.
Enough and more than enough.
Mrs. Douglas, are you ill?
It's this room. I'll be all right.
Madam, I urge you to take the police completely into your confidence.
Yes. Yes, I shall. But not here.
Which is the correct room?
Mr. Holmes?
I knew we couldn't fool you. The dining room. Let's go into the dining room.
You came then? Of course. You brought the money? Show me this proof. Come through.
Well, where is he? Where's Bertie Edwards?
He's here, Counselor. I am Bertie Edwards.
Here.
Thank you, Doctor.
Now, will somebody please tell me what all this is about?
Aye. Come along now, Mrs. Douglas. Tell us everything.
Well...
One moment.
What is it now?
Simply this. I think it might be best for all concerned if we were to ask someone else to tell the story.
What?
Don't you agree, Mr. Douglas?
Good God.
Gentlemen, my name is Jack Douglas.
Make a single move and the next bullet won't be for the ceiling. My men are all around this house.
And you gentlemen are well and truly under arrest.
I've heard of you. Sherlock Holmes.
At your service.
And you too, John H. Watson?
Mr. Douglas.
You're the historian of this bunch, isn't that right? Well, I'd lay my last dollar you've never had a story like mine pass through your hands before. There. I've spent the last few days in that rat trap putting it into words. You're welcome to it. You and your public.
Move on there! And keep those hands where we can see them.
Come on, move. Keep moving.
You damn traitor, McMurdo!
Well, I guess you can call me that if it eases your pain, Jack McGinty.
I can call you more than that. I can call you murderer! Captain, this man's responsible for the death of Chester Wilcox and his whole family.
Now is that so? Then how can it be that I saw Wilcox and his brood alive and well only this afternoon?
What?
I made sure they were all well away before I blew their house, McGinty. Just as I made sure a lot of other jobs went wrong.
You were there when old Stanger got taught a lesson. That makes you an accomplice.
I stopped Baldwin from kicking the man to death. That makes me something else, I'm thinking.
It makes you something special right enough. Something very special. Why, you...
Not one more word out of you, Baldwin.
Brother!
Or you, Councillor McGinty.
If any one of you escapes the noose, you know what you have to do. I've said all I have to say. Get me away from this filthy traitor!
Sergeant!
All right, move! Move! Come on.
You okay? My God, Andrew. I wouldn't go through those months again for 10 times the money.
You got those devils, and that's what counts.
Yes, I got them. But I had to go to hell to do it. Come on. Let's finish the job.
Many extra men of the Coal and Iron Police had been brought in secret into the small township of Vermissa for that night's work. Lodge 341 was soon no more. In the early hours of the next morning, a beautiful woman and a young man, fresh-faced, large-eyed and smiling, could be seen at the small hut which served as Vermissa's railroad station.
I knew it. I knew it. I knew you could never be like them. Oh, John.
The special train sent by the railroad company made a swift, unbroken journey away from the land of coal, iron, clank, and roar. It was the last time Etty Shafter and her lover ever set foot in the Valley of Fear. Ten days later, they were married, with old Jacob Shafter as witness of the wedding. The trial of the Scarers was held far away from any place where their adherents might have terrified the guardians of the law. The work of Bertie Edwards was complete.